Hello, I wanted to give an update on one of the investment properties that I had highlighted that was in great despair. Well, look what happens when you press the city to do their job. This property was given blight tickets, violations for city ordinances. And I mean, these guys came over here and banged this property out. It's been about 2 weeks now, but they had so much done within 1 week. I mean, really, they were working at night with the lights on outside. This painting here on the veneer, that guy was spraying in the dark. He had a spotlight. They've really cleaned the grounds of the property up. And I just wanted to show that this is what it's going to take Detroiters to demand that their communities be maintained by the investors. If they have properties in Detroit, you need to maintain them. And we need to stop being so accepting of neglect. They don't go to the suburbs and buy properties and just let them sit and be trashed and things falling down and falling apart. They don't do that in other communities because they know that code enforcement will come around and give tickets. And so Detroit has the same ordinances as other communities, but it's not being enforced. And if the residents don't call and say, hey, this property looks bad, or this property has overgrown yard, if the people of the community don't say anything, nothing will ever be done. And that just shouldn't be. You don't want things so stringent where if someone lets their grass be a little overgrown, that code enforcement is out ticketing them and you can't even breathe. However, that is not what's going on in Detroit. Lion's share is properties just being completely neglected. And if we're going to turn this city around, if we're going to have a cleaner community, we're going to have neighborhoods that people desire to move in and raise a family and buy a home, your own home, or you're single and just enjoy. Folks gonna want to live somewhere where it's appealing. We have some of the best well-built homes in Detroit. They don't even build them like this anymore at an average cost where everyday person could afford. But we're just not maintaining them. And those that are being rehabbed, that's great. But you have to work on the neighborhoods too. We have to work on the neighborhoods. And that's what this administration is not doing enough of. They've picked certain communities that they want to dump all the money in. But yet even the things that are just on the books, we can start enforcing it. And I'm so sick of hearing about, we don't have money for this and we don't have money for that. But money is being put downtown. Money is being put now in the New Center area. Anywhere that there is a college or a university, money is being put there. But those that's living in other communities, it's nothing being done. It is nothing being done. When I say nothing, let's start with what is on the books already. Even this community has asked if we could have those who are have the association, individuals in that community deputized, and to be able to write blight tickets, write code violations, something, because Here's the thing. Detroit is so large. And we're constantly being told what we don't have money for. Why not use volunteers of those associations in the city that are very strong? Very strong. You have associations that, I mean, they actually are solid. You know, where 100 people show up to the meetings on a regular basis. You know, community associations that have bought properties and rehabbed them themselves. You mean to tell me those organizations cannot help to get their own communities up to par? Because the moment you call the city, we don't have enough people. We don't have the people for that. We don't have the resources. You know what? That is hogwash. Because most of the things in our lives that we need to do, we don't have all the resources. What do? You go and try to figure out how I can get done with what I have. If that means you have to have volunteers get on board, if that means you have to trade resources, that means you have to tap into organizations who want to donate their resources, whether it's their talent, whether it's their products or service. It is all sorts of ways to get around when you don't have money for something. You know, that's a cop-out. Because the moment someone says, I don't have the resources, we don't have the money, they figure that'll shut you up. Well, you know what? We still have an issue, so what are we going to do about it? You know, if you only have $1,000 and you have more liabilities than money, you know, and you say, shoot, this $1,000 is not going to take care of everything that need to be done, what do? You start planning a way to get it done. Whether that means to start the budget for it, that means to, like I said, basically barter, or find, it's so many organizations around and volunteer. And there are people who are dedicated. I mean, my mother, for example, she has been in block associations and very, very involved for 40 years. You have lots of people like that around. In neighborhoods that have strong neighborhood associations and strong block clubs. Tap into that. Because those people know what's going on more than anyone else in their own communities. They know the people who are most problematic. You know, they know the people who are trying, give them a little bit more time. You know, it's the same concept as block grants. That's why the government will fund something and turn it over to the local government, because they know what's best. It's hard to try to govern something and try to have make decisions that are impactful and have a positive influence if you're not right there. And this city is so large. You know, I mean, so large. It's so large, there's no way the few inspectors that we have, you know, the few city planners, the few managers, it's just not, it's not enough people to handle the issues that we have. You know, like I said, many groups who would be willing to volunteer. There are associations of volunteer. But you know what? The moment you mention that, it's an excuse not to. A lot of it is politics. Inspectors don't want their jobs cut. Nobody wants your doggone job. We just want communities to be clean, safe. We want people to know if you buy in Detroit, whether you invest or homeowner, you expect to keep your property up. You know, it's too many properties in despair. And it's best if locally we start to focus on communities. Let the communities be more involved in helping these neighborhoods get up to par. One of the big things that really hurt Detroit is when we allowed police and fire personnel to move outside of Detroit. You know, that was an extra layer of oversight, because people knew Officer Thompson, Officer James, Fireman Jenkins lived up the street, and they pulled in and parked their car the same place you did. Now you can't get people to respond when you make a 911 call. You can't get the operators to make it a priority unless someone's life is in danger. The quality of life issues doesn't matter. And see, those things were really kept in line more so when you had officers living in the communities. Because think about it, you're not going to be flying up and down the street if Officer Jones live on the block, because he can pull up the street at any time, and if someone have an issue, they can just come and talk to them. Well, but when we lost that, when the court said that officers and fire personnel can move outside of the community, okay, now we have no other layer of protection. We don't have that. I mean, you actually have things going on where individuals know that they can do those things and be gone before the police even get here, because they know just as I that what is considered a priority. And so yes, there are things that this city government can do, given the so-called constraints of money. There are things that can be done to improve the communities. There are hundreds of people who are involved in community associations. You could give them authority to basically have some oversight power. We have to stop looking for an excuse, because that's just all it is, an excuse not to tackle problems. You have whatever issue you have, but hey, how can I get what I need done given the constraints I have? And that means, like I said, that means sometimes you have to go borrow something. That means you have to tap into resources that are free to you. Barter. Use volunteers. Use organizations that have their human resources, their people volunteer. There are so many things that we could start doing to put more eyes on, more authority to help get these communities stabilized. I mean, we have like 4 inspectors out of the whole doggone city of Detroit. Impossible. Why not get some of the strong neighborhood organizations the power to be able to do the work that these inspectors do? Train them up. Have them sworn in, all that you need to do. Let them report to the city. Let them report to court. But like I said, it'll be a problem at all the inspectors, and nothing but like 4 of them. Ooh, they might take our jobs. People care they don't care about the city being more stable. Oh, they might take our jobs. We need more than 4 of you all. Why would we take away? You know, but that's just the foolishness you have to deal with when you're talking about politics. But it's just unacceptable. And a lot of folks don't realize you all cities don't services aren't conducted by paid personnel. Sometimes you have part-time people. You have people who, I mean, I know northern small communities, the people that handle that and govern, they're volunteers. They're not paid. So what I'm saying is, why can't we have paid personnel and volunteer people that handle have duties too? Well, that's just some things I wanted to share. But this property, the work that's been done is just a testament to what can happen when residents say no and you start pressing the city. I called and called the city. I bugged and bugged because I was tired of being in the corner seeing this property look a doggone mess. And like I said, that's a quality of life issue. And I stayed on them until they got out here and started writing blight tickets. And that got the owner's attention. So let's start pushing back. Let's stop accepting neglect from these, particularly investors. Homeowners too, but particularly these investors. It's just like absolutely no reason for that to happen. Thank you.